Okay, so for this category, or let's fill out this chart together. It says state if it is possible to determine the mean and or median from each statistical graph. Then determine whether the data in the graph is skewed right, skewed left, or symmetric. So just based on the shape of what we see here. Okay, so for the first one, we have a dot plot right over here. As you can see, it's got X's, but it's still a dot plot. So for this dot plot, we are able to calculate the mean. So I'm going to say yes, because we're going to determine if we can calculate the mean. Yes, can calculate. Median, we can calculate the median as well. Yes, can calculate. We literally just calculated the mean and the median earlier from a dot plot. All right, now let's look at the histogram. So remember, histograms are a type of summary. You're going to summarize it because every single frequency of a data point, you're going to put it into a bin. And so that bin is usually a range of numbers. It usually isn't just going to be 0, 1, 1, 2. Like it's going to be like 0 to 5 or 0 to 10. It's got a range of numbers in every bin. So for histograms, you cannot tell exact numbers. So because of that, you cannot calculate the mean or the median. Simply because you cannot you cannot see exact numbers off of a histogram. Remember, it is a summary, so you cannot find the exact values. Same thing for a box and whisker plot. You cannot calculate exact mean because you can't see the exact values. However, the median is part of the box and whisker plot. It's literally this number right here in the center. That's going to be your median. So it's not that you calculate it from the box and whisker plot, it's that the box and whisker plot was based on the calculation of the median. So when you are looking at a box and whisker plot, yes, I should not write calculate, I should write can see median. Because you're not calculating anything, you're literally just looking at that number because the calculation has already been done for you and it was built into this box and whisker plot. Okay, so now that we've done those, let's figure out the distribution of the data. So let's see, is it skewed right? Is it skewed left? Is it symmetric? So the way I like to look at it from a dot plot is think of it as having a blanket on top of it. And then once you have your blanket on, you can see most of your data is over here on the right side, which means it's going to be skewed left. All right, on to this histogram that they give us. You can also picture a blanket here. And for the most part, this blanket looks pretty even on both sides. So this one we can actually call symmetric. And then finally, for this box and whisker plot, you can't lay a blanket over it. But what you can do is take a look at which one has the longer tail. So remember that there's 25% in each of these categories, 25, 25, and 25. Look how condensed the data is over here. So let's say each of those 25% was 10 data points. There's 10 data points in this section. There's 10 data points over here, squished all together. So if you imagine a dot plot, there's 10 dots, like all stacked on top of each other over here. There's 10 dots in this section as well. So there's 30 dots, like right over here where I've just made some scribble marks. But there's also 10 dots spread out over here. So as you can see, most of the data is actually on the left side, and then there's like a few things straggling over here on the right side. So those few things that are on the right side are actually going to skew the graph to the right. So this is skewed right because most of your data is on the left side. So when you're looking at a box and whisker plot, you want to see how condensed the data is because there's 25% in every single chunk. So there's 25% all condensed over here, and then it's 25% all spread out over here, then most of your data is where it's condensed. Okay. Now let's move on to part B. We're going to determine which measure of center best describes the data in each given data display. Then determine the mean and median if possible. If it's not possible, explain why. All right, so for the first part, we're going to describe or determine which measure of center is better. So remember, I'm going to write over here. Better measure of center. It's based on the shape. So if it's skewed, then you want the median. If it's symmetric, then you want the mean. Okay, so let's take a look. This one, is it skewed or is it symmetric? It's skewed, so then we want the median. So the median is the better measure of center. Now we're also going to determine the mean and median if possible. If it's not possible, explain why not. So let's find the mean from this picture. So to find the mean from this picture of a dot plot, we just need to add up all the data values. So we have a 65 over here. Here, I'll write mean first. I'll do mean over here. Okay, so we have a 65. We have a 66. I'm just going to write it all like that, plus 67, 68, 69, plus 4 times 70, plus 3 times 71. Okay, and then after you do all that, you have to divide by how many numbers there are, which is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 12 numbers. So you just add everything up, divide by 12, and then you're going to get your mean. So once I've added everything up, I get 828. And then I divide by 12, which gives me 69 as our mean. So our mean is 69, and then we also want to calculate our median. So to calculate our median, all you have to do is cross out every single number. So let me write our median out. So we're going to cross, 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 cross. Okay, we have two numbers here. They both represent a 70. So I'm going to do 70 plus 70 and divide by 2. Remember, when there's two numbers, you add it together, divide by 2. And then we get 70 as our median. So our mean was 69, our median was 70. And because this is a skewed graph, the median is a better measure of center. So that's number 3. Please let me know if you have any questions. Otherwise, let's go on to number 4. Number 4, we are given a histogram. And from this histogram, it looks pretty symmetric to me because the left side and the right side look pretty similar. So this is a symmetric graph, symmetric shape. So therefore, the mean is the better measure of center. So I'm going to underline that so you know that the mean is a better measure of center. And then we want to see if we can figure out the mean and the median, calculate those. Remember, for histogram, you can't calculate it. So I'm going to write that, cannot calculate mean, median from histogram because we cannot see exact values. I mean, look at the histogram. We have 0 to 20 here. Do you know there's a 15, a 19, and 18 in there? Nope, we have no clue. They could all 30 of those frequency, like the frequency of 30, all 30 of those data values could be 0. All 30 of those data values could be 15. They could all be 19, or maybe none of them are 19. You literally have absolutely no clue. So because of that vagueness, you cannot calculate the mean or the median because you cannot see the exact values. So that's number 4. Please let me know if you have any questions. Otherwise, let's go on to number 5. Number 5, here we have a box and whisker plot. So let's see, is this skewed or is this symmetric? Look at this long tail. This is definitely skewed. This tail is so much longer than this one. Remember, 25% of the data is here, 25% of the data is here. That means there's so many data points stacked in this section, and they're all spread out in this section. So this is a skewed graph. So let me erase all that, and then let me write skewed. Wow, skewed. So once it's skewed, then we know that the median is the better measure of center. So we now know it's the median. We need to see if we can calculate the mean and the median. You cannot calculate the mean, okay? I'm going to tell you now. Remember over here, you cannot calculate the mean from a box and whisker plot. And you can't do this for the same reason you can't do it in a histogram, because we cannot see exact values. Okay, so we cannot calculate the mean. However, we can figure out what our median is. So let's take a look right over here at this middle line. This middle line is our median. And so to me, that looks like 0.08. I'm just estimating. .08. And I'm just guessing that's 0.08 because this is 0.1. So this must be 0.05. And so that looks a little bit more to the right than the middle, so 0.08, my estimate. We can calculate the median because it is one of the 5 number summaries. It is one number from our 5 number summary. All right, so let me know if you have any questions, but other than that, we'll go on to the next video.